हाँ? हम्म, वो आप पूछिएगा। A very good morning to all of you. I guess all our guests has joined us. So it's the time to start. Uh, can I check with Professor Korvar? Can you hear me, sir? Yeah, Professor Korvar, am I audible to you? Let me check. Yeah, I think. Okay, I am muted. Okay, Professor Korvar, I think you have an option to unmute. I will do it for you, sir. Just hold on. So you can unmute yourself. You have an option. You can unmute your microphone and come in here, sir.
Yep,
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
I'm here. I'm just looking for my camera. I'll find it in a minute. Go ahead.
Okay, okay. No issues, sir. Please take your time.
My camera is here. Okay.
I think now we are. I think we are all set now, sir. May I request our Vice Chancellor also, sir? You can please switch on your video, sir. And may I request all the participant also to please keep your video on. Being an inauguration session, we should. It's better to see each other. May I request all the participants to kindly switch on your video. Thank you. Thank you, sir. With your permission, sir, shall I start? May I request all the speakers to kindly check your audio so that you should not face any problem at the end. So let me check. I think you have an option to unmute yourself, and I have made that option intact. You can always unmute yourself. All the speakers kindly check the audio, sir. Dilip sir, yes sir, yes sir. Okay sir. Oh yes sir, that's fine. I will also ask you to unmute all the speakers. You have an option. Let me check whether I have kept that option intact. You can allow the. Okay, I am doing that. Allow attendee to unmute yourself. Thank you. Now all of you can do that, sir. Thank you so much. So, a very good morning to all of you. I welcome you all to this inaugural session of the Atal Family Development Program on Design Thinking. Uh, I will thank the AICT Training and Learning Academy, very popularly known as Atal, for sponsoring this 5-day faculty development program on design thinking, organized by the Department of Mechanical Engineering at C.V. Raman Global University, Bhubaneswar, Odisha. Today we have with us Professor Ashok Korwal, ex-professor IIM Ahmedabad and CEO coach as our chief guest. We are also having Professor B.S. Satyanarayan, our Honorable Vice Chancellor of CGU Odisha, as a guest of honor. We also having with us Professor S.K. Sarangi, academic advisor at CGU Odisha, and Professor P. Kanungo, Dean Faculty of Engineering, CGU Odisha, and Professor D.K. Biswal, HOD
Okay.
Mechanical,
Good one.
grace the inauguration session. May I request all other participants to kindly keep
No,
yourself
I
in mute
didn't.
mode. Please,
What
and if you are
what
keeping
mistake I done
yourself in
again?
mute, may I request all of you to ensure
No.
checking your mic. Please keep yourself in mute mode. Thank you. Being an online, this is a challenge for all of us. Thank you.
Okay.
Let me check. Should I mute all of you? In the meantime, I will mute all of you and
That I have mentioned in the this one, no?
thank you. Thank you. And you have an option to unmute yourself whenever required. Thank you so much. And it's a challenge. We all of us know being an online mode, this will always be a challenge. A big thanks to all of you to spare their valuable time for this event. We all are truly feeling honored and privileged to have you all with us, sir. And we also look forward to hearing from all of you during this event. To start the event, I wish to give an invite to Professor D.K. Biswal, HOD Mechanical at CGU Odisha, to share his thought on this occasion. So you can
Thank
unmute
you.
yourself and comment. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Honorable Chief Guest of today's program, Professor Ashok Korwar, ex-professor IIM Ahmedabad and CEO coach, respected Vice Chancellor of our university, Professor Dr. B.S. Satyanarayana, Professor Sunil Sadangi, our academic advisor, Professor P. Kanungo, Dean Faculty of Engineering, Program Coordinator Dr. Manoj Kumar Gopal, esteemed speakers of this program, dignified guests, faculty community of CGU Odisha and of other reputed institutes, and the participants. A very good morning to all of you. Wish you all a Happy New Year 2021. On behalf of Department of Mechanical Engineering, C.V. Raman Global University, Odisha, I welcome you all to the Atal Academy sponsored Faculty Development Program on Design Thinking. The Department of Mechanical Engineering, established in 1997, is one of the premier department of C.V. Raman Global University, Odisha. Offers BTech, MTech, and PhD programs. From the years together, the department has evolved not only with the quality of teaching being imparted, but also with the kind of practical exposure or industry-like exposure with the help of latest technological advancement in the form of various center of excellence like HBSE Holding, Tata Technology Limited, Tool Room Center under the Department of Mechanical Engineering of CGU, which makes the student industry fit. The department not only focuses on quality of teaching, but also on the research aspect too. The department already has funding more than 1.5 crores from various government bodies like DST, BRNS, and consultancy project from NALCO and Tata Steel. I really thank AICT for coming up with such a brilliant idea of going ahead in the field of gaining knowledge by sharing, despite a lot of restriction being imposed in various parts of the country due to COVID-19. This FDP is going to continue for the next 5 days till 8 January 2021. And I hope this gives the participants the kind of exposure of technical and practical knowledge which they all are looking for in this program. My best wishes to all the dignified speakers and all the participants. I wish all the very best to the organizing team to put up a successful show for the coming 5 days. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Professor Biswal is in IIT he has done his PhD from Indian Institute of Guwahati, and his speech, when he addressed the audience, we can see the in-depth of his knowledge in all the aspects. He is expert in smart material and composites, and he's having more than 15 years of teaching experience. Sir, your work says a lot. The way you have addressed us and inspired us, we ensure you to give a best foot forward to this event and try to make it a big success here. Moving ahead, we have Professor P. Kanungo, Dean Faculty of Engineering at CGU Odisha. He is an PhD from NIT Rourkela in the area of computer vision and image processing. He has a vast experience of more than 2 decades in teaching and research. He is being an active part of all the technical, cultural, and administrative activity at CGU Odisha. He is currently holding a position of Dean Faculty of Engineering and also professor and head in the Department of Electronics. He is also chairing the Institute Innovation Center, Director of Robotics, COE, and many other portfolio to. He is also having more than 50 research publication to his kitty, has guided many successful MTech and PhD theses, and have completed many funded projects from DBT and DST. Professor Kanungo, over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Manoj Kumar Gopalia. Thank you very much. And esteemed Chief Guest, Professor Ashok Kowar, Honorable Vice Chancellor, CGU Odisha, Professor B.S. Satyanarayana Sir, esteemed Academic Advisor of CGU, and immediate academic leader, Professor Sunil Kumar Sarangi Sir, Honorable Resource Persons of this FDB, HOD Mechanical, Dr. Dilip Kumar Biswal, Coordinator of the FDB, Dr. Manoj Kumar Gopalia, Registrar, Deans, HODs, distinguished guests, faculties, participants, ladies and gentlemen. A very good morning to all of you. On behalf of the entire faculty of CGU Odisha, I welcome all of you to this inaugural function of 5 days Atal FDB on design and thinking. Ladies and gentlemen, faculty vitality is the main ingredient to enhance professional education and competence. Enriching the faculty vitality in key domains like teaching, assessing, research, professionalism, and administration is perceived to improve educational environment significantly and enhances the academic performance of learners. Faculty development program has been considered as a standalone educational pedagogy in forecasting knowledge and professional skills of faculty. Training of faculty is as important as training the students to adapt and develop emerging and thrust area courses in average with the today's rapidly changing technology. We are thankful to our great visionary leader and founder, President of CGU, Sri Sanjeev Kumar Rao, who has been constantly motivating us and supporting the faculties members since the inception of the institute. Since the inception of the institute, our president is providing technical as well as financial support to train the trainers. The journey of C.V. Raman College, this global university now, this journey of this global university started from the year 1997. At that time, it was only engineering college in the name of C.V. Raman College of Engineering, popularly also known as CVRC. Since its inception, it was devoted to quality and constantly remained committed to bring about rapid transformation in the field of technical education by imparting high quality education and training through its well-equipped smart classrooms, world-class laboratories, and unbeatable center of excellences. There are some of the, these are the some of the shining feathers in crown of our CBRC. Helped the institute to grow into an autonomous startup. CBRM Global University as per the Odisha Act 2020. Although this university is newly born, it takes pride in its rich heritage, aiming to improve the scholastic ability, effectiveness of the quality education system across the globe. The university is committed to expanding the scope of the existing departments, so to open new ones to deliver multi and interdisciplinary courses by accelerating present sectoral focus of its mother institute. Enriching the faculty vitality through faculty development program is one of the best practice of our university. During this pandemic period, we at CGU Odisha converted this pandemic crisis to an opportunity by conducting and participating in different FDP and STTP, starting from ICT-based teaching learning to different thrust areas and futuristic skills. For example, augmented reality, virtual reality, and up to this today's design thinking. In last 4 years, the university organized 4 Atal FDP in different thrust areas. Organizing an FDP to achieve the required outcomes needs lot of time, hard work, team effort. So let me tell something about our coordinator. Today's FDP coordinator, Dr. Manoj Kumar Gopalia. He is the design thinking ambassador of our Institute Innovation Council of CG Odisha. He has conducted many webinars and boot camps for students and faculty under the umbrella of this IICCGU. I am confident that he has given his best design thinking in the overall coordination of this FDP so that all the participants will immensely benefit from different sessions during these 5 days of FDP. I am humbled and honored to express my sincere thanks to Honorable AICT Chairman Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe for such an initiative to develop faculties in different futuristic technology through AICT Training Learning Academy, which is known as Atal program. Once again, I congratulate the coordinator of Atal FDP, Dr. Manoj Kumar Gopalia, Head of Mechanical Department, Dr. Dilip Kumar Bishwal, and the faculties of Mechanical Department for organizing this FDP on design and thinking. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir. It's always good to hear from you, sir. You have very well articulated the journey of our institute, and I can tell you, you had a big role to play in that. The way we have reached here, you have contributed immensely to that. And regarding some few very good words about me, see, he is the boss in that context. He is the president of Institute Innovation Council, and I am working under his guidance only. So, sir, all the driving force are you only, sir. And thank you so much for this such an overview. And it's always pleasure to hear you, sir.
It's my pleasure, Dr. Gopale. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now it is my pleasure to request our guest of honor, Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor B.S. Satyanarayan, to address this. Professor Satyanarayan holds a PhD in electrical engineering from Cambridge University, UK. He has a 35 years of experience working in industry, R&D institutions, policy planning academics in India, Japan, and UK, working with global partners including USA, Germany, Singapore, European Union, Russia, and China. He was the founder vice chancellor of BML Munjal University, Gurgaon, CEO and principal of RVCE VTU Bangalore, advisor Environment, Science and Technology Office, US Embassy, US Government Delhi, Deputy Director Professor in ENC and Head Innovation Center, MIT Manipal University, to name the few, sir. If I start talking about him, he has such a great CV, sir. Thank you so much to spare your time for us, sir. Sir, the whole day is with you. Thank you.
You need to unmute. It is not unmuting. Unmute. It is
So I think we can
not
hear you,
unmuting
sir.
from my side.
So we can hear you, sir. We can hear you.
Oh, okay. You can.
Okay.
Now it is muted. Dr. Gopal, it is muted.
Okay. I will do that, sir.
Sir.
Now you can do. Go ahead, sir. Sir, I think you were
No.
unmuted earlier. Now you have muted yourself, sir. You can try it once again, sir. You kindly unmute. I have sent you the request, sir. Kindly unmute. Yes, sir. Now we can hear you, sir.
Yeah. Can you also enable me to share my PPT?
Yes, sir. I will do that, sir. I will just do that.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Honorable guest, chief guest of the day, Professor Ashok Korwar, our advisor, Professor Sarangi, and all my, colleagues, Dean Engineering, Professor Kanangu, Professor Biswal, Professor Gopalia, and also all the esteemed speakers from the various industries who are here to provide the overview on this presentation, on this very interesting topic, and of course, members of the academic fraternity, various other institutions who are also participating here. I think it's my pleasant and a proud privilege to share some of my observations on I think for some reason the net seems to be very slow and lagging. Anyway,
So
I think
you cannot
it
share your
goes without
PPT, sir.
saying today that we are in some most exciting times, and also the whole world is looking at us and our education system to enable them. And more importantly, the whole of education system. Am I allowed to share?
Yes, sir.
I
Yes,
don't
sir.
still see
So I think
provision to share
no,
here
sir.
in
You
my
can.
screen.
You can, sir. You can.
Huh?
You can, sir.
Okay, let me see. It seems to be very. Oh, finally, so very slow. For some reason, the Cisco network seems to be. Yeah. So we are in a most exciting time, and this calls for some exciting thought process, and it cannot be business as usual. And therefore, it's I think important that we seriously see how do we enable ourselves. And as I mentioned, if you look at the new education policy, it says we need to transform. We need to look at multidisciplinary systems thinking, design thinking, enabled education. Or again, it calls for, even education 4.0. I still don't see it as enabling me. I don't know why it's so slow. It is taking ages. Doesn't matter. Even if it does not come. Yeah. So the key point I wanted to convey was the whole world is looking at India. India has a large number of youth. Today we have about 35 million children in higher education, expected to go to about 150 million in the next decade. Plus, as I said, the world is looking, because of our demographic dividend and also after post-COVID, India figures in the top in terms of global value chain. I mean, and in that global value chain, and you will see that whether it is in the last 3 years investment or even in future investment, people see India as a key enabler. And also with the current situation in China, it is even more critical. India becomes a key enabler of the global value chain, especially leveraging its young demographic dividend. But for this to happen, we need to seriously look at our education system and see how do we change. It cannot be business as usual, because whatever India is today, close to, depending on which day's dollar conversion, whether it is a 2.5 trillion economy or whether it is, say a 2.7 trillion or whatever you want to call economy, it has happened in spite of our education system. We can hardly name 5 products to have come out exclusively from our academic community which has enabled this country. But then, even if you look at the smallest of countries, Israel, Ireland, Singapore, Taiwan, Korea, or even Japan for that matter, most of their product processes, the education systems have contributed immensely. And for that to change in our context, when we have the largest demographic dividend, we are already one of the largest supplier of human resource in high tech, science, technology, engineering, management, and this is only going to expand even further. If we cannot get our act together of going beyond assessing for marks of rote learning to truly understanding what we are doing and moving towards product, process, system design, I think it's going to be very difficult. And for that to happen, it is very critical we seriously take up system and design thinking. So because there are experts who are going to talk about system and design thinking, I just would not want to talk about system and design thinking, but rather share some examples. I don't know, even now, it is not allowing me to share. It's not
So I
on
think
my screen. I thought,
so you can unshare and share once again, because we could see a blank screen coming. So you can unshare and share again so that we can see.
let me see. Anyway. No, again, something went off. I don't know why it is so lousy the network. Sorry.
Yes, yes.
The key is we need to change. And as I was saying, the whole world is looking at us. And for this to happen, we seriously need to look at design. For example, the lack of design thinking. Some examples would be, see, we have whole of Delhi metro constructed. And in whole of Delhi metro, you are supposed to have stations where you can come and park and then travel by the metro to save your time. Suppose you were to go to a metro station in Delhi near Akshardham temple. If you see that it's supposed to be a major station where you could park your vehicle and travel to any part of Delhi in maybe 40 minutes. But to get in and get out of the station, you need 1 hour. Because the entry and the exit is one and the same. That shows lack of system and design thinking. That so all the point of saving a 2-hour journey is lost by just coming into the metro station and going out. The parking logging system completely disrupts the benefit of having saved 1 hour time on travel. So therefore, again, for example, if you look at our Tata Nano, it was a wonderful new car. The car had great capabilities. It has, so many of these features, over 40, 50 patents developed by even the OEMs for Tata Nano, which are today part of Mercedes-Benz and Mercedes or BMW. But unfortunately, it lost because somewhere in the holistic thinking, the Indian aspiration value was not considered, and it was maybe called the vehicle for the common man. And therefore, somehow people did not want to use that vehicle as much in spite of its huge, decent value. If it had been called as the most environment friendly vehicle for, say, European local transit, maybe everybody here would have, just the branding could have made a huge difference. So when you talk of system and design thinking, it is not just some tangible product process aspects, but as I said, we are looking at a multidisciplinary, anyway, doesn't matter, multidisciplinary environment where you are looking at as a tangible and non-tangible influences. And again, they do not have linear correlation to what is going to happen. And therefore, it has to be truly well thought of from all the angles for it to be viable. And in this context, I think it's very critical we do or look at design or system thinking. So as I said, I am not going to talk on design and system thinking, but I just want to say we can actually do things. For that context, in the last 8-9 years, I had the privilege to head 2 engineering colleges. One, a very old engineering college, which was 45 years old, and another was an entirely new engineering college. We just started from scratch. In both the cases, we had entirely different environment. But how do we leverage and change? As we said, we were a 45-year-old established teaching institution with great value. But then we needed to transform our 8,000 students to be employable, to be, global citizens, and actually be also getting appropriate jobs. So we leveraged the advent of, say, the accreditation process, or possibly even some of the TechWhip enabled requirement to say, how do we change? And created an entirely new framework for working with a multidisciplinary system and design thinking approach and experiential learning. To enable this, we brought on some processes, and the outcome of the process was that after 5.5 years, students had developed India's first Pico satellite. Students had developed India's first solar car, which ran a 3,000 kilometer rally in Australia. And our funding, again, because it was an appropriate strategic system design thinking enabling that over 3 years from a first year assignment, the car ran in Australia in a contest with an effective cost of about 3 crores. But our investment over 3 years was maybe hardly 25 lakhs. Students designed, say a toilet with inherent water and waste management, which won some national award, or they developed a waste management system, which won again some national award at Texas Instrument, or some UAV was developed, which NASA recognized as the best designed equipment because for a 600-gram UAV, it could actually carry close to, say 2 kilograms of weight. Or even the Pico satellite for that matter. See, none of us had an experience of developing satellite. We started with student experiments, student assignments. Students presented a conference paper in Glasgow on the concept. They won an award in Glasgow. Based on that, 4 local colleges joined together. And
I think our VC has suffered some internet issue, so he just logged out from this meeting. I think we should wait for a minute, or shall we move ahead, sir?
I think we should give it a minute for him to join
Okay,
Dr.
okay.
Manoj,
Okay, we'll do that. Thank you.
since he was facing some network problems.
Thank you.
Gopal sir,
Yes, sir.
you can contact BC sir if we.
I contacted Dr. Biswal, I contacted, and to Khan Babu and his.
Okay, sir.
No.
So, just in the meantime, just to inform the audience, we have been joined by more than 100 participants at present. And on our FDP portal on Atal, we had 196 registration for the event. And if you can go through the participants' specialization and all, it's a highly diversified field. We can say almost every field has been covered by this spectrum, and it's good to have them on our 5-day FDP. And I'm sure this myth of design thinking being the cake of only the technical people will go away with this FDP, and it is meant for everybody. So I'm looking forward to this and hope to have our vice chancellor very soon. Yeah. I think our VC is also contributed immensely in this area. And the moment when I went with this proposal to him, he simply said that fantastic, go ahead. And very soon we are also going to have design thinking as an core courses for all our undergraduate students, and we are in the process of making the course curriculum for that. And that is what we have highlighted it in a very big manner, and Atal has given us an opportunity to have this FDP as well. And I'm also thankful to School of Design Thinking Chennai, where I've been there in 2018 in May on their 3-day on-campus workshop there. I heard Professor Gurwa there as well. And that has changed my whole life. The way I used to think before that, and after that, I am a totally changed person. And from that day onwards, I started working in that area. And Dr. Anbu, Ramki, and all, we had a very good time there. And I'm very happy that they are also part of this. I can say the whole program has been designed by those people only. I only given them the target that it should lead to innovation thinking, and it lead to an encouragement for all the participants to have it as a course.
I'm sorry sorry.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, please. Yes, sir. You can come in, sir.
No, I think I have already made my time is over. I don't want to say much except I'm sorry. I think we have had a very poor connectivity issue right from the morning. I am all even the words are very intermittent, but we are happy that we are having an excellent program today. But all I wanted to say was in the last 8 years, working with students and faculty and MSME, we were able to create close to 1,000 crores of infrastructure, new product, process, medical instrumentation, as I said, from satellites to propulsion system for satellites to electrical mobility cars to biomedical implants and wide range of products and service, leveraging system and design thinking. And I'm absolutely sure as a university with the excellent infrastructure, with a visionary thought, the president has created over 25 plus centers of excellence. And we have great advisors like Professor Sarangi, Professor Das, Professor Mighty to handhold us. And we have a huge potential to do truly Atmanirbharta of world-class products in line with our university tagline. And I wish the workshop all the success. And I'm sure we'll have an exciting time. And I hope also to see as far as possible, participate and learn from the experts. And I'm sure we'll also be recording it or possibly having the PPT also shared among all of us to learn a lot more. Once again, we wish the program all the success. I would thank AICT for such an initiative and especially our innovation council members for initiating this workshop. All the best for the program. Have a great 5 days of workshop. Thank you very much. I look forward to having even an opportunity to interacting with Professor Korwar and also other experts who have come here so that we could share some of our points of view of experience of how with a suboptimal cost we could do cutting edge, disruptive and next generation or technology also within academic system. Thank you once again for having me here.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. What an inspiring thing, sir. Whenever you speak, sir, you inspire a lot. I can tell you, you have set the right and much needed pace for this FDP. Now we can think much more than from this FDP. It's an always honor to hear you, sir. Thank you once again. Now, moving ahead, I hope I am audible to all of you, sir. Yeah, thank you. Now, moving ahead, we have Professor Sunil Kumar Sarangi, our academic advisor at CGE Odisha. He is a former professor at IIT Kharagpur. He is also a former director of NIT Rourkela. He has guided many PhDs, MTech theses in his more than 4 decades of excellent teaching and research career span. He has to his credit an exceptional trail of research publications, consultancy work. He has many national and international awards to his credit. He is also a noteworthy cryogenic engineer and an lighthouse for all of us. I can tell you, Professor Sarangi, is always feel less to speak about your CV, sir. It's exceptional. Thank you to spare your time for us, sir. You can just now hold eyes with you. It's your turn. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Chief Guest, Honorable Vice Chancellor, all the distinguished attendees of today's FDP. Am I audible?
So yeah, you are audible, but still
Manoj,
getting some
can you
audio
hear me?
issue. Sir, we can hear you, but some lag is coming. If you are on campus or you are at your home.
No, I am at home.
Okay.
So I cannot do anything regarding the lag, but I can speak a little louder.
So please go ahead, sir. We can hear you.
Okay.
Clearly.
Okay. Thank you very much for having me in this August gathering. Let me share some thoughts on this. First, on behalf of the academic community, I record my appreciation and everybody else's appreciation of this entire concept of having all these auto FDPs and thereby making the faculty more informed and thinking more in terms of new topics or more current topics. Design thinking certainly one of them. But even if there is a AICTE circular and these opportunities are there and faculty are getting educated in different subjects, how does it translate to the better performance of the student. As we know that many of our institutions are in the college university system, and there, even if the faculty is really strong, his freedom in bringing that strength to his classroom is actually limited, because paper setter is somebody else, examiner is somebody else, and tabulator is someone else. And so under these circumstances, it's a little difficult for a normal faculty member, even after learning everything on design thinking or any other subject, to really make his class different from what he was doing yesterday. Now, fortunately, things are changing under the new education policy. If it is really implemented seriously by the governments, we shall have almost every institution autonomous, and the faculty is also autonomous within the institution. While waiting for this scenario to happen, let us see what we can do. Many of our institutions, C.V. Raman Global being one of them, are actually completely autonomous institutions, whether they are having the designation of a university like us, or they are having designation of an autonomous college. Either case, this college university system is not tying them up. The university is, or the autonomous college, is perfectly within its power to work out its own educational system. Now, this is so please excuse me, I have to silence it or do something. Okay. So in our educational system, we can do this. My today's intention is to influence all my listeners on how to do that in spite of our system, not because of our system. Our system is helping us through the ICT by giving this opportunity of spreading knowledge, but what we can do. First, my experience is that even if UGC has given autonomy to most autonomous colleges, but colleges are not taking it seriously because they are afraid of the universities. Because always there is a general feeling, I felt it, that if we do things differently than what our controlling university was doing yesterday, they may take us to task. So government adopting a policy is one thing, and people accepting it and feeling empowered is another thing. So I request my today's audience to feel empowered, to convince yourselves and convince people reporting to you. Like if you are a college principal, then all the college faculty are reporting to you. And if you are a head of the department, your department faculty you should be convinced that autonomy has come to the organizations. In turn, autonomy has come to the teacher within the organization. And the teachers are supposed to improve not only their own knowledge, but also what they are transmitting to the students through their courses, through their project supervision, and so on. So one of my suggestions here is that everybody listening to me take life, make it a mission that we shall make autonomy as a philosophy, not for the organization, but also for the teacher and for the student. That's point number one. Second, what happens is, you please understand, in a typical, reasonably good side institutions, there could be 2,000 to 4,000, 5,000 students. There are institutions with 20,000 students. But suppose let's take a decent institution whose admission is 1,000 students per year undergraduate and maybe another 100 postgraduate. You please understand that there are 1,000 very young and bright people doing research project in their final year, 1,000 undergraduates. And there are probably several hundred, a few hundred, maybe 100, 200, 300 postgraduates, maybe another 50 PhD students, and certainly 200, 300 faculty. So I am talking of about 1,500 people engaged in research. 500 of them are very qualified and full-time, and 1,000 are novice. they are undergraduates completing it. But even them, if we take the AICTE curriculum seriously, which has provided hardly 3 subjects per semester in the final year, they have a lot of time to invest on their project work. That means an average decent college has a huge amount of manpower supposed to be doing innovation, supposed to be doing design. And if I do the maths, I would find that in our country, we would have, I know I take of IIT, say IIT Kharagpur, my institution, 2,000 PhD students, 600 faculty, another 2,000 MTech students, and so many people, the best among the best intellectually, are engaged in full-time research. So our country should be producing a lot of technology, but we are not doing that. Why we are not? Something must be a reason. Blaming people is not the answer. We must blame a system or try to find out where to make a change in the system so that they would become productive. It reminds me, IIT Kharagpur had a very great person as its director named Professor G.S. Sanyal. He passed away recently. When he was my director, 4 decades ago, in mid-80s, he called a meeting of industrialists from Calcutta, and almost most of them are from Calcutta, Jamshedpur, Rourkela, Bhubaneswar, etc. They came and he made him an offer. He said, gentlemen, you are here, and there are a lot of small businessmen, industrialists, small company owners, and there were also GMs and EDs of large companies. He said, we are here for developing technology for you. If you are having a problem or you are thinking that we can expand to a new technology, we are there for providing the research manpower. And you please give us some funding, we will give you technology. In that audience, one gentleman, rather old, he raised his hand. He said, sir, it was 1980, so 1 crore is to be big money. He says, I am a small person, I don't have much money, but I can invest 1 crore on research. He says, wonderful. What do you want it to be done? He says, yes, I will give you 1 crore. You give me technology. Either improve my present business or give me opportunity for new business. So Professor Sanyal was very happy. He says, yes, we will give you something which will certainly be worth much more than 1 crore. Then he said, I have a question. Sanyal sir says, what is your question? He says, look, you at IIT Kharagpur have been existing since 1951, and that is 34 years. And in 34 years, you have been getting, at least in 1984 currency, maybe 100 crores a year. That means you have 3,400 crores of 84 currency received from the government. So if 1 crore you will develop one technology, in 3,400 crores, you must have developed already 3,400 technologies. And Sir said, well, maybe. All right, proceed. He said, okay, forget 3,400. 340 technologies, 34 technologies, 3.4 technologies, कितना है आपके पास? आप दिखाओ. So he says that, look, we have publications in Nature, we have publications in Physical Review, we have an ASME transactions, we have IEEE transactions. He says, उससे क्या होगा? मेरा रोजी रोटी तो भरेगा नहीं उससे. आप मेरे को बताओ क्या टेक्नोलॉजी कर. So the answer was a near blank then, 1984, and it's not much different in 2020. It's not much different from IIT Bombay, Delhi, Madras, Kanpur, or whatever, and it's not much different from CGU or any organization. And we are here today to make a difference, and a very small, tiny difference. And here is my suggestion. My suggestion is that many of the audience here are not from very rich organizations, and suppose we are poor organizations, but we must bring in, which Professor Gopali has introduced, or Department of Mechanical Engineering introduced, design thinking. It doesn't cost much. My suggestion would be, in organizations, I am actually addressing to faculty, senior faculty who are having other, the team captains of some sort, that let us take our opportunity for doing projects by the PhD students, by MTech students, by MSc students, by BTech students rather seriously. And what we do, my suggestion would be, make our system professor-centric rather than student-centric. in most places. I am seeing right from, I was 20 years old, now it's 50 years already. Now, what happens is most research in our country, whether in PhD level or in undergraduate project level, are student centric. The student, if I am a professor, I have 5 students, they will have 5 distinct problems. There is no overlap. They don't talk to each other. They talk, but they have nothing to talk because they are 4 5 different subjects. So if it is professor centric, then I shall have a mission that I shall make something extremely mundane. Maybe from my group, we shall produce a toy helicopter which will fly. Now I shall have 5 students trying to do that. I can certainly buy a kit from Chinese make and make it fly. I'm not saying no. But suppose in my tiny department, I want to make it happen. Then, in fact, it happened. What happened in my own institute here in C.V. Raman? Students came out, very nice kit, and actually in project they demonstrated how they are able to program and helicopters fly. So then I asked them, okay, tell me, did you design the propeller? He says, no, sir, it came. I says, well, tell me, what is the RPM? And what is the twist of these blades? And what is the density of the material that has been used? Nothing. So the idea is what I would propose, that if we are going on such a mission and, pardon? So if we are actually doing, if it has to be done, my suggestion would be like this. It is a professor centric. The professor wants to achieve something. Professor says, I would do research on drones and I will do everything possible. I have 5 students. Groups of 5 students or 5 individual students. Doesn't matter. Everybody would contribute to it. Someone would specialize in the materials. Somebody will specialize in design of the beams or design of the structure. Somebody will specialize on the electrical part. Somebody will design on the aerodynamics. At the end of the day, I shall be obliged to deliver to my management a flying drone which will be capable of lifting 2 kg or vice versa, or whatever, anything, something people would, it will be capable of doing something. So what I would propose is that student projects inspired by this design thinking course or any other course should be professor centric, and departments and institutions should review their professors' desires and dreams and saying that we are here to assist you, and the students must fall into line. They would include minor financial hotels may be given, and obviously about buildings, but the money to design and refine the design. Explain to people how I have designed the structure of my drone. And the academic system has to be such. In fact, a practical problem comes. Students simply refuse to work. They don't do nothing because they take graduating for granted, because in a college, IIT Roorkee failed in one paper 76 students long ago. Professor Banerjee used to be director. And then it became an issue in the parliament. How come in IIT students are failing? So any university student fails, the faculty is in trouble, the university is in trouble, everybody is in trouble. Don't fail students, simply delay them, saying that this is your assignment. Here is the professor, it's his mission, he has to do it. He is fully empowered. First is autonomy must be passed on. The university is empowered, the college is empowered, the professor is not empowered. Empower the professor. He says, look, this is, you do this, then you take nature. It has been in many places it's done. It just requires a little administrative willpower. Why I am telling these stories and much more, I don't want to take more time. Basically, I would like to address to my audience here, which has all these, big name people like my colleague, Professor Satyanarayana, down to the youngest faculty in the list. Everybody has certain responsibilities. We should take our positions in a sense, autonomy more seriously, and these thinkings more seriously. And the situation should be professor-centric rather than student-centric. And situation cannot be harsh, it never works, but should be minimally, there must be a reward punishment correlation with the performance, and out should come improved designs. One major difficulty comes, neither students nor management likes, nor professors like. Last year, there was one BTech project on design of a flying drone. This year, it cannot be a design of a flying drone because this work is already done. In fact, nothing has been done. So, research titles should continue over years. It should run for 10 years. Nothing goes wrong. At the end, 10th year, if a group, one faculty or three faculty, 80 students are able to put a satellite in orbit, it's done. Let it run for 10 years. The design of a Pico satellite. Why not? It does take that kind of time. ISRO started the cryogenic engine program in 1980s and realized in 2014. In fact, in 1996, then Prime Minister Narasimha Rao ji said in the parliament, in 2 years, the Indian rocket engine with the cryogenic engine would fly. Okay, but it took till 2014, from 1996 onwards. And the work actually started in 1986. So projects do run over 3 decades. And that should be accepted as reality rather than a bad performance record. Saying that professor is doing this drone development for 5 years. Yes, if he does for 5 years, he should be rewarded for it, for pursuing it with devotion. And if this kind of philosophy is spread, I believe that even with our average undergraduate strength and postgraduate strength and faculty improvement or whatever is possible through this, we would be producing ordinary people who will be able to deliver extraordinary things. And that's the message I wanted to give. And I would like to record my gratitude to Professor Gopalia and Professor Vishwal and Professor Kanungo, BC sir, everybody, and for giving me the opportunity, and of course AICTE and Sasra Budeji and everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Sir, you always inspire us. It looks like the thing should keep on going. We don't want to stop you, but no, we have a fixed time, but it always feel that why not more? Thank you so much, sir. And the key thing I can take away from your, what we can say, address here is that we also think in this process, we should continue to take a feedback and keep on improving. That is the key of our whole concept. That is what we are saying. It should not be a one piece. It should keep on working over and over, get a continuous feedback and improve upon it. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Now we have entered the segment of our inaugural ceremony where we will be hearing our Chief Guest, Professor Ashok Korwar. Professor Ashok Korwar, 1977 IIT Mumbai graduate, 1982 UCLA PhD, is a professor from IIM Ahmedabad. He was the chairman of PGP MBA program and coordinated senior management and MEP programs there. He serves on the advisory board of several companies and is an adjunct professor at IIM Indore. He has co-founded the School of Design Thinking in Chennai, who is our partner in this FDP. So it's an honor to have you here, sir. Sir, would you like to share your PPT, sir, so that I can give you that right forward?
I think based on experience, it's better not to try. So I will simply talk.
Sir,
Let's see how it
I can
goes.
tell you, sir, if you wish, you can switch off your video and you can share your PPT. That will work.
No, I'll just speak. I think it's fine.
Okay, sir. Thank
I
you so much.
think no, sometimes the bandwidth is just too low, so I won't try that. So again, thank you, Honorable Vice Chancellor Satyanarayana, Dean Kanungo, Professor Biswal, Professor Sarangi, and of course, thank you to Dr. Gopalia for inviting me to do this. I am very honored to be here with so many distinguished people who have done such outstanding research and guided great universities to do great things. I have done very little compared to those people, but the accomplishment that I'm proud of is, of course, the School of Design Thinking. I also took a look at the faculty, at the list of attendees, and I'm very happy to see such a wide diversity in the people who are signed up for this course from all kinds of departments. And that is great, because that is what design thinking is really about. So I'm not going to, I just want to appreciate a couple of things that people have said so far. One that Professor Vice Chancellor Satyanarayana pointed out is the need to move beyond conventional thinking or conventional learning. And that's of course what this session is about. So this is an example of that. And Professor Sarangi, I think, challenged us to rethink what academic education is about and why are we actually doing it? What is the purpose? And how do we measure success? So I think these are all things that are very relevant, and I'm glad that they've been brought up. I'm not going to comment on them because the people who said these things are much more qualified than I am to comment. I'm not going to either tell you what design thinking is, because that is what the remaining, the rest of the days are about, right? I'm not going to talk about what is design thinking. Anbu is there, Ramki is there, and my colleagues Ramnath and Satya will do that. What I want to really talk about is why design thinking. Why should we be thinking about design thinking at a time like this? I think all of us would agree that these are very extraordinary times. Everything around us, you see fear and uncertainty. And the one thing you know is that you don't know anything, right? You don't know what is going to happen. You don't know what 2021 is like. You don't know whether the vaccine will work. You don't know what college education is going to be like. You don't know what jobs people are going to get. You don't know what engineering industry is going to be like. We know nothing, to be very frank. And many times I am asked, as a sort of somebody who should know, be able to predict the future, what do you think is going to happen? And my simple answer is I have no idea, because I don't think anybody has any clue either. And I think that is the kind of world that we are living in today, where really everything is uncertain. And if we face it with fear, then all the bad things we imagine will happen to us, right? It's like if you think a dog is going to bite you, a dog is going to bite you. And I think those are things that we all know. So the important thing really, and I would like to focus on that for a few minutes, is that in this world where we really don't know what is going to happen, what is the quality we need to cultivate in ourselves, not just in the faculty, but in the students as well. So there is this notion or concept that I want to introduce or talk about if you haven't already heard all about it. There is this notion of anti-fragility. The notion of anti-fragility is something like this, that if you take a glass and you drop it on the floor, it will break, that's fragile. Something which rebounds to its previous situation is resilient. Something that becomes stronger when it puts under stress is anti-fragile. It is like, what was a diamond? A diamond was just a piece of carbon, which, because it was put under tremendous pressure, became a diamond. So anti-fragility is about that. The reality is we are all going to be subjected to stresses which we can't even imagine. And if we shrink away from that with fear and trepidation, then we will get crushed. It is only if we welcome this kind of stress and say it's going to turn me into a diamond, or as Nietzsche once said, if it doesn't kill you, it will make you stronger. As long as it doesn't kill you, you are better off because it will make you stronger. If it kills you, of course, too bad. But as long as it doesn't kill you, it will make you stronger. So the entire focus that we need to look at over the next few years, and we need to cultivate in ourselves and everybody else, is this capability to be anti-fragile. Now, all that is fine, good theory and all that. But to my mind, what does it take to be anti-fragile is what we need to think about. And I would say there are 2 or 3 things. One is, of course, fearlessness. If you look at all the bad things that can happen, then bad things will happen. The important thing is to be able to put them out of your mind and look at the situation as it is, not what could happen, all the bad things that could happen, but what is actually happening. What is the actual situation? If you look at the the actual situation as it is, not making up things about it which are not there, then that is the beginning of anti-fragility. To say what is actually happening. The second thing that we need to focus on is don't make assumptions. Don't assume you know what is going to happen. Okay, I'm a PhD in management, so I know exactly what's going to happen. Not true. PhD in management doesn't help you at all to figure out what is going to happen. What is going to happen, you can only figure out if you have an open mind and if you keep looking and observing. Observe, 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 and question everything. I always say, and this is something we talk about a lot in the School of Design Thinking, is that the first and most important step is to ask the right question. See, any fool can give the answer once the question is given. But who asked the question in the first place? He's the greatest of all thinkers, right? I mean, we all make fun of Aristotle in Western thinking because every answer he gave was wrong. Everything he said was wrong. What we forget is that he was the first person to ask the question. We are still answering the same questions Aristotle asked. We are answering them differently because we know better. But what are the questions? What he asked. He is the first person to ask what is the difference between prose and poetry, for instance. Today we are still asking the same question. We are giving different answers, that's all. But the question is the same. So I think we have to understand and appreciate the importance of the questioner, not the importance of the answerer. Given the question, anybody can answer, and the answer will always depend on the situation. But to ask the fundamental question, what is happening? Why is it happening? Why are all these things going on? And Professor Satyanarayana rightly mentioned to systems thinking. Systems thinking is part of that. You're asking why? Why is it happening? What is the cause of all this? These are the things that we have to cultivate in ourselves, the ability to keep asking why and not be stuck with our own beautiful answer because we fall in love with our own solution. In design thinking, we keep emphasizing, again, I'm not going to tell you what is design thinking, I'm just talking about the mindset of design thinking. We keep emphasizing that your answer, your solution, your answer is not important. What is important is the problem. Fall in love with the problem, not with your answer, is what is a very principal tenet of design thinking. And of course, given that there are things going on, you have to try something. You have to try something, you may fail. I mean, even a Kalidasa, I mean, he sat on a branch and cut that tree branch, right? And presumably fell and hurt himself, and everyone thinks he's stupid. But we all know he's the greatest poet India has ever produced. And not because he was a fool. He was trying something. It didn't work. Maybe he thought he had wings. A poet does have wings, but he didn't have. So try and fail. It's okay. Importance of trying and failing. And in India, we do not emphasize or appreciate failure often enough. We think the guy failed, he must be an idiot. Not true. The person who tried and failed is a person to be valued because he tried something. He learned something. As long as you learn something, it is fine to fail. It is important to fail, in fact. All these things that I mentioned, the ability, the need to be fearless, the need to understand the real cause of something, the need to try and fail and keep moving on. This is what design thinking is about. This is design thinking. And that is what I just wanted to communicate in this, just a kind of precursor to the whole course, is what is design thinking? This is design thinking. One day, I hope we will be successful with design thinking. And to my mind, design thinking will be successful if 20 years from now, nobody talks about it. The word design thinking should disappear from the language. Then I will know that it is successful. It's like quality today. Who talks about quality? Everyone does it though, right? When quality came into India, early 90s, I was a professor at IIM Ahmedabad, and we were all looking at it and saying, what is this thing? You know, there's nothing in it. Of course, quality should be good. I mean, what is there to discuss, right? But it took industry and the rest of the world by storm. And today, nobody talks about quality because everybody is doing it. When design thinking is internalized by everybody, then we will know it has succeeded. So it should disappear from the lexicon. There should be no more workshops on design thinking. Then design thinking will be successful. School of Design Thinking will close and we'll move on to doing something else. So that is my hope for all of you. Understand what design thinking is about. It's really about the mindset of thinking differently. And with these words, I will close and thank you all for inviting me to give this talk.
Thank you
Turn
so
it
much,
over
sir.
to you, Professor Gopali.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, your address has raised the expectation for this FDP, sir. Actually, I can just share you. I had already heard you in your campus, and I am a big fan of yours. But now I have become a bigger fan today. It cannot be better than this for the closing of this ceremony. You have set the right pace, sir. All our participants, if you can see, the chat box has been flooded with the comments and all. People have just you have just inspired each one of us to look forward towards this 5 days activity. Before I formally announce the inaugural close, I place on record my sincere thanks and gratitude towards AICT Training and Learning Atal Academy for sponsoring this FDP and give all of us an opportunity to enhance and upgrade our understanding of the concept of design thinking. I also sincerely thank the CGU or Odisha management for giving its support to the program. And in the end, once again, I sincerely thank all the dignitaries who shared this virtual dais to spare their precious time for this event. Professor Ashok Korwar, Professor S.K. Sarangi, Professor D.S. Satyanarayanan, Professor P. Kanungo, Professor D.K. Biswal, all other HODs, deans, faculty members from CGU and across India who spare their time for this inaugural session. My dear participant, the very first technical session of the FDP will start sharp at 11:30 a.m. So kindly be there on time. Thank you everyone for being here and have a nice day to all of you. Thank you so much.